I did a video 2.5 years ago discussing the Kamado Joe Big Joe 2 that I just purchased, and I thought it was time to do an update video. If you've been researching these grills, then you may have heard things like quality, versatility, and the flexibility of this grill, and all of those things are true and have held true over the past 2.5 years. I've gotten stable temperatures for low and slow, or even high temperatures for doing things like searing or pizzas. And you get as much smoke as you want, being able to put in as much wood chunks as you prefer. And there are tons of different accessories, which makes it incredibly versatile, and you can really do any type of cook that you can think of. The things that sold me on the grill were really just the accessories that were included with the grill that I didn't have to initially pay extra for. Also, the updated hinge and control tower, the updated seal, all of that stuff played into my decision. But now let's talk about how that stuff has held up over the years. It's really been 2.5 years. I put 2 in the title just because 2.5 years sounded weird, but it's been 2.5 years that I've had this grill. I rarely cover it, and it sits out in a Southeast Louisiana sun all the time. There's no shade in my backyard, and it just gets direct sunlight. The finish of the grill has held up incredibly well. The control tower is showing a little of like sun bleaching, but that's just my fault for not covering it. And then the shelves, which are kind of made out of that black plastic material, they are showing a little bit of wear and tear, but for 2.5 years in the sun, I think they still look great. The hinge is still in excellent condition, as well as all the other hardware on the exterior and interior of the grill. Now, the fiberglass seal is showing a little bit of wear and tear, but I think that's natural, and they do sell those seals. If it ever were to give me issues, I could, 1, try to file a warranty claim and see if it's covered under warranty, or 2, just purchase a new seal and install it myself. I've tried to pay special attention to taking care of my grates, so I use steel wool to maintain mine, and they still look phenomenal after 2.5 years of use. Now let's talk about some of the accessories that I use and recommend. So the first one that comes to mind, of course, is the Joetisserie. A lot of people ask, hey, what should my first accessory be, once I've kind of dialed in using the grill? And I would have to say, go for the Joetisserie. It is just incredible being able to have a rotisserie grill at your disposal, whether it's chickens, doing picanha, which is incredible, gyro meat. It is wonderful to have that flexibility. If you then add on a basket on top of that, you can start spinning wings, which I've done a video about, and those are really the best wings that I think I've ever had. I don't really enjoy going out for wings anymore. I would much rather stay home and just spin some wings on the Kamado Joe. My only complaint about the Joetisserie is that the motor is not waterproof. So you're not supposed to have it out in the rain. It rains a good bit where I live. It might not rain where you are. And it's really still no big deal. I've put foil over it in the past and it hasn't really been an issue, but I did just want to mention that. Other accessories, I've got the cast iron half moon griddle, and I also have the cast iron half moon grate as well. Over the years, I've found that I'm using the griddle much more than the grate. Both are fine, but to get a sear, I love getting that griddle way up in temperature. We're talking 800, 900 degrees, something like that, and then getting a nice quick sear on a steak just on that flat cast iron. Absolutely wonderful. So I have found myself using that a bit more often than the grate itself, but still really enjoy both of them. The next thing that I have, or that I've gotten over the years, is an ash basket. Now, it's not the name brand one, and it's not the one that Kamado Joe makes. It was just a knockoff that I found on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. It's held up great over the years, and I enjoy it for 2 main reasons. One is that the ash just falls right out of it. You don't really have to clean out the ash from the bottom to keep that airflow up, so keeps excellent airflow going. The other thing is using the Joetisserie with the basket. I can put the divider in the basket and bank the coals pretty easily to one side. I'm sure you can do this without a basket as well, but those are kind of the main things that I use it for, and it's really come in handy. The next 2 accessories are temperature controllers. I've used both the iKamand Gen 1 and Gen 2, as well as now the Fireboard. So I just put a video out on the Fireboard. That's the one that I'm now recommending people to get. The iKamand, I think if you're looking between the two, I think the Fireboard is the way to go, but I've greatly enjoyed using temperature controllers on my Big Joe as well. It really doesn't need it because the Big Joe is great at holding temperature. I'm a techie nerd. I enjoy the ability to keep up with my cook when I'm not at home using Wi-Fi. So I do enjoy those luxuries. The other thing is I like the insurance if I'm doing an overnight cook or if I'm doing a cook where I leave. I don't think I've had a single experience without a temperature controller where the grill like ran away on temperature. But it is nice to know if I've got a $70 brisket on there and I go to bed that no matter what, that little thing's gonna keep temperature. I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be doing just fine. So I like that aspect of the temperature controllers as well, and they work great with the Kamado Joe Big Joe 2. Now let's talk about some of the cons. The first one is the price, absolutely. So if you're looking on Atlantic Grill Company, you're probably gonna see the Kamado Joe Big Joe 2 for I think $1,700 or $1,800. I got mine from the Costco Roadshow and I paid $1,500. So I highly recommend waiting for that to come around to your area and trying to do that. Also, a couple times a year, Atlantic Grill Company will have an online like Black Friday sale or like a Father's Day sale, and they'll mark them down significantly. I don't know if they're gonna drop to that $1,500 range, but they get pretty close. So I would wait for that. $1,800 to $1,900 for the 2 is very expensive. I know that they also had the version 3 out as well now using that slow roller, so I don't have any experience with that. It's hard for me to see the value justification, especially if I got my grill for $1,500. To upgrade to the Big Joe 3 is a significant amount of money, and I just don't know that the slow roller is gonna add that for me. So I'm perfectly happy with my Big Joe 2, but again, major con being these things are expensive. I do think they're quality, but they're expensive. The thing that's given me the most trouble, and this is by no means a deal breaker, is that top control tower. After a few cooks, it starts to gum up and it kind of locks up on you. So once you get the grill to temperature, it moves freely and is totally fine. So I'd say once a year or so, I find myself having to like deep clean it just to get it to move easily again. I will boil mine in soapy water, scrub it, and then throw it right back on there, and it's totally fine. So again, not a major issue, but I just want to make you aware of these things, that this is a pretty common issue that I've seen online. I've also seen some people where they actually have the paint start to peel off of that control tower. I haven't had that issue, but some people are having that. So it seems a pretty common issue is the control tower kind of gumming up on you. Just want to make you aware. It's also been my experience that my heat deflectors tend to break. So the first set that I got had a chip in it, and that could be because I bought the display model from the Kamado Joe Roadshow at Costco. So that could just be a result of wear and tear kind of moving around in a store, or maybe someone nicked it. Then later on, I'd say about a year later, I had another one break on me. I think it's temperature related. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to let you know that Kamado Joe swapped them out for me both times at no cost because it was a warranty claim, and I got new deflector plates both times within a week. So the customer service, in my opinion and in my experience, has been phenomenal, which I think paying that much money, that kind of goes with the territory. I would expect that level of customer service, and they have been providing that, in my opinion. Some people are probably gonna hate on this con, but I think I'm just gonna mention it depending on the type of person that you are. This is a more involved grill. It's not like you're set it and forget it like a Traeger where you just set the temperature, walk away, 5 minutes later, your grill's ready, you throw the meat on, you're done. It's a little more involved to get up to temperature. Really, it's no big deal, but just takes a little bit more time. Might even take a little bit of practice. If you have a temperature controller, it's much more like set it and forget it. You kind of start the fire and then just let the temperature controller take over. If you're not using a temperature controller, then you're gonna have to like play around with dialing in your vents, your top vent, bottom vent. It's really not hard, and I actually enjoy that aspect of it. Having more control, especially putting the amount of wood that I want in there to get the smokiness that I'm looking for, I really enjoy that control. Some people might not be looking for that. But again, not a big issue at all, but it is gonna take you probably 30, 45 minutes to get the grill up to a nice stable temperature. It's just gonna take a little bit more time. My last con is going to be the size that you're getting for the price. I mean, you can get a 22-inch Weber, and the classic version of the Kamado Joe is fairly small. The Big Joe gives you plenty of space, but that is something to consider, the amount of money that you're paying for, the capacity that you're getting. They do make shelves to expand the grilling surface, which is great, but I think that is a con that kind of ties into or dovetails into the price, is that for the price, you're not getting a massive amount of space to grill stuff. Again, I've got the Big Joe, never been an issue for me. Rarely am I doing anything larger than a brisket, and it handles a full packer brisket just fine. I've done multiple pork shoulders at the same time, totally fine. But I did just want to throw it out there that if you're going for the classic is actually going to have trouble fitting a full packer brisket on there without a brick or some other method. And you might want to look at sizing up to the Big Joe for a few extra $100. Again, that's one of the cons, is the cost. Overall, I have been incredibly happy with the Big Joe. The barbecue that I'm able to get off that thing has just been amazing. I've been impressed with the quality, the customer service, and every piece of food that I've had come off of that grill. It can really take your barbecue game as high as you are willing to go, as much as you're willing to try. It can deliver all of that. There really aren't any limitations to what you can do with this grill other than just the capacity of what you can actually fit on it. I hope you found this video informative and helpful if you are in the market for a Kamado Joe style grill. Thank you so much for watching Break It Yourself. Don't forget to thumbs me up. But the most important thing that you can do is, if you know someone who's interested in barbecue Kamado Joe, share this video with them. The algorithm absolutely loves that. Thanks again for watching Break It Yourself, and we'll see you next time.